Do you have questions about buying or selling a home, not sure if you're qualified? Your local real estate agent Antoinette Ware is here for you. Do you live out of town, moving out of town, or looking for investment property? Well, let's work together and make it happen. Antoinette Ware can be reached at 419-917-6258. The name you know, celebrating over 20 years, serving Toledo and surrounding areas. Frida's Cleaning Service is a small family-owned business established in 2003. With over 17 years of professional, high-quality, and greatly satisfied service, the Frida's Cleaning Service will get the job done. Specializing in sanitizing your home, business, post-construction, and commercial cleaning, no job's too big or small. See for yourself and give us a call, 567-249-9172. La Frida's Cleaning Service. Our reputation is always spotless.
Are you tired of driving around a dirty car? Say hello to the ultimate solution for your car. Quick Auto Detail, home, work, or wherever. Their mobile car spa will clean and shine your car anytime and anywhere. Their products are gentle on your car's paint, and they use only the highest quality materials. Book your appointment now.
Hi, this is TV comedy impressionist Christopher G from the other side of the pond saying hi, and I love the Queen Silvy show.
Welcome to the Queen Silvy Show. Tune in at 11, good laugh, good vibe, that's for sure. Get smooth with Tim, get smooth with Tim. They have you running like you popped the pill. Once you hear the show, you ain't gonna want it to end. Get creative with the sounds you can make with your mouth. Reaching all over the world, Queen Silvy in the house. Award-winning show with the #1 spot. Look out. It's the Queen Silvy Show. 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 It's the Queen Silvy Show.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live, it's time for the silky smooth sounds of Smooth Tim and Her Majesty herself, Queen Silvy.
Hey, it is Smooth Tim, and thank you so very much for dropping by and spending another terrific Tuesday with us on the multiple award-winning Queen Silvy Show. Speaking of the Queen, it is now my pleasure to bring her to you, the Queen herself, the sexiest granny in the world, Queen Silvy.
For he is absolutely correct. It is me, Queen Silvy, on this terrific Tuesday, the multiple award-winning The Queen Silvy Show. You. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where you are in this great world today.
Indeed.
Hope you're ready for the super greatness we have in store for you. Smooth, how are you today?
I am doing absolutely terrific on this Tuesday, Queen, and how are you doing?
As always, I'm supercalifragilistic.
Expialidocious, I
Yes.
suppose. It's 24/7, 365. Queen Silvy, you are always simple.
I know. Amazing. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Go on and smack
you are.
yourself.
No, thank you.
I am amazing. But you are amazing, Smooth. You are amazing. We have an amazing guest today on the show, don't we?
Absolutely. We have on today's show a speaker, photographer, a paraeducator, Michelle Steiner, going to be sharing some information and enlightening our education. Just
Looking
a tad
forward
bit
to it.
about what's going on in this world.
Yes, looking forward to it.
Otherwise, hey, folks, as always, hearts and prayers going out around the world. Still people out there lobbing bombs at each other. Cities still being invaded by ourselves. So, hey, you can catch up all that on tomorrow night's show, Tim's Tidbits. Oh, hey, well, heading to a government shutdown, I hope all those people are going to be okay. So our hearts and prayers are going out to
Absolutely.
everybody in so many ways around the world.
Yes.
But that's enough depressing news, Queen. On with the show.
On with the show. Well, hey, I want you to know that you do have time to be kind and spread the word for someone else to go on in and get the super greatness we have in store for you. Before we get things going on this terrific Tuesday, what I like to do at this moment is I like to share some motivational words from the Queen Silvy Show to you. For every disability you have, you are blessed to be blessed with more than enough abilities to overcome your challenges. After all, challenges are what makes life interesting, right? And overcoming them is what makes life meaningful. So know that your uniqueness is your superpower. So embrace it and let it shine. Hey, you got this. And those are some motivational words from the Queen Silvy Show to you. I'm going to keep things going. Thank you, my audience, because I must represent my good friends, my good kings and queens all over the world, giving a shout out to Pepper Gomez and Wake Up Music. Wake Up Music rocks. Holistic health advocate Marva Riley. Marie McKenzie and the International Sexual Assault Recovery Institute. Carmen Jewel and Massage Therapy by Carmen. Simone Enterprise and Entertainment Company and the Simone Family Foundation. A Journey Through Healing with Beatrice Crawford Daniels.
Shout out to you.
Kinsley Patino, Queen Jenna, Queen Ashley, Follette Clark, and Kenneth Ross.
Shout out to you.
To Queen Aaliyah, Asia, Tay, Maya, Camille, and Dejour.
Shout out to you.
The Helen Myers, Peace Myers, Corey and Casey Patino, and Joan Mercer.
Shout out to you.
To my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren,
Shout out to you.
Jonathan Easley, Lee Allen Sr., Wade and Katrina, LP and Cynthia, Melvin and Teresa, Kaki, and Mike.
Shout out to you.
To Queen Sonia, Kaki, Shanika, Alana, Brianna, and Precious.
Shout out to you.
To Nancy, Delia, and Chrissy from Fort Worth, Texas.
Yippee-ow.
Say what?
Yippee-ow.
Like that. To Ryan and the All-American Boys, Matt and Tracy and the All-American Girls.
Shout out to you.
I think I need to pause for the cause. I really do. And clear my throat. One moment, please.
Woof, woof. Meow. Ribbit, ribbit.
Ooh, did you catch that ribbit part? Don't knock it till you try it. Pamela Anderson, C. Shorty Franklin, Patricia Wilhelm McGiffin, Renita Easley, Gold Rosa, Nana Ferry, and Pam Bailey.
Shout out to you.
To my good friends in Africa, Amy Kanima, Websterito Hostile Flow, Hero Boy, and Princess Area Lua.
Shout out to you.
To Sabrina Williams, Pinky Harmon, Sassy Savage, Robin Taylor, DJ Team Brooke 100.
Shout out to you.
To my good friends in United Kingdom, Beth Lambert, Nicola Jones, Bethany Jones, and Kay Cross.
Oh, top of the name, mate.
Say what?
Oh, top of the name, mate.
Lorenzo Gabaniza, Christine Lewis Anderson, James and Audrey, Serious Edition, Nana Linda Hartley.
Shout out to you.
To Edith Verhoek, Queen D. Brown, Sandra and Ben Johnson, Melody Gorb Dobb, Miguel Montalban, Brian Pearson, Brenda Ramirez, and my good friend, Joe Mass.
Shout out to you.
That's right. Hey, listen, if you would love to be shouted out, if you have someone you would love for us to represent and shout out, we'll hook you up. Oh, yes, we will. 3 days a week. Every Tuesday with the multiple award-winning The Queen Silvy Show. Every Wednesday with Tim's Tidbits. And again, every Thursday with the Now You Know Show with Queen Silvy and Smooth Tim. As we bring the best in live entertainment, talents, topics, and resources from around the world just for you. Check out this resource, and when we get back, you better believe the ball is rolling with super greatness we have in store for you on The Queen Silvy Show. Hi, I'm Queen Silvy of the multiple award-winning The Queen Silvy Show. You want to expand and get noticed? Then come outside your box and into our world. Internet advertising has a real impact on global awareness and even sales, so let's make an impact together. Offering for a limited time advertising and sponsorship packages that excel your purpose. So contact Queen Silvy or Smooth Tim for the exciting opportunities that awaits. Yeah.
All right.
Hey, we are back on this terrific Tuesday. As I said before, you do have time to be kind and spread the word for someone else to come on in and get the super greatness we have in store for you. From the start, people told her she could not go to college, obtain a bachelor's degree, or even have the job she wanted. But with the power of faith, navigating the education system, overcoming social struggles, and now proof that limitations don't define your destiny. Here to encourage, empower, and educate people with and without disabilities. Live from Pennsylvania, I introduce to you advocate, disability writer, photographer, and paraeducator Michelle Steiner.
Hi.
Hi, Michelle.
Thank you so much.
Well,
I'm so glad to be here today.
Well, we are honored to have you on the show today. You know, there are many different types of learning disabilities. And learning disabilities is a term used to describe a range of learning and thinking differences. Now, these differences can affect the way the brain takes in, uses, stores, and sends out information. Michelle, you struggled in kindergarten where your journey began, along with the diagnosis of dyscalculia, if I'm saying that correct. Take me back if
Yes, dyscalculia.
Yeah. Take me back and share what you will about what you went through as a kindergartner.
When I was a kindergartner, I really struggled to learn in the classroom. I was having difficulty with writing my name, tying my shoes, anything math related. I can also remember dot to dot pages were really hard for me. I would complete one of them and I thought, oh, I'm doing a really good job. And I would get it back and it wasn't correct. And it was just really frustrating because I didn't know what to think. I was doing the best I could do and I was really struggling. And I also struggled socially. I was an only child for 13 years. My brother didn't come along for a while. So I was mainly with adults.
Mm-hmm.
And my kindergarten teacher saw all this struggle in the classroom and she suggested that I get tested for having a learning disability. And it came to no surprise to anybody that I have one. They didn't call it dyscalculia at that point, but they did know I was not going to be a mathematician when I was 5 or 6.
That's funny. So someone is hearing that word for the first time. Actually, explain what dyscalculia. Explain what that is.
Yeah, and how it affects you.
Right. That is a math learning disability.
Mm-hmm.
So people that have this, it affects people in different ways too. They're not very great with math. They really struggle with that. They're really good at reading, really good maybe with writing, but they really struggle with doing math. So I have difficulty with trying to figure out how numbers work. I do not know all my fast facts for addition, subtraction, or multiplication. I'm not able to read the face of a clock. I can see that there's definitely numbers, and I can tell that there's the big hand, the little hand, little lines, but it doesn't mean much to me. It's difficult for me also to tell my right from my left, and I just get stuck in a lot of the steps of how to do math and math problems with that.
Wow. You know, I can actually imagine that a child in school, I mean, knowing or even not knowing of a disability would experience moments of frustration and perhaps even bullying. Tell me, how did you even handle it? Because this was brought to your attention at kindergarten. You had to go through junior high and high school as well as college. But how did you handle these certain challenges and situations, and what tools or strategies did you use to help you along the way?
Right. I had to repeat kindergarten the following year in a different school in our district. It was still a public school, but it was just a different one. And I had to have specialty instruction in the very beginning where we worked on all areas. We worked on reading, we worked on writing. I was good at those things, but I just needed a little bit of extra support so I could really be able to flourish later on in life.
Mm-hmm.
And we attempted to learn math. That didn't work out very good. And I also went to kindergarten in the afternoon. So I had a lot of reinforcements with that. I even had speech therapy for the first 5 years when I was in school. So, I mean, I had my ears were clogged. So I wasn't hearing my S's correctly and how words were. So I just had to have a little bit of that extra support. And I was really lucky because what they were doing was working for me academically.
Mm-hmm.
I was in all regular ed classes once I got into high school, except for math and a resource room with accommodations. I had the test read aloud to me. I had extended test time, and that really was something that was really something that helped me. What it was really difficult was also making friends too. I
Mm.
quickly got bullied. I went to a very small conservative school district where everybody knew each other and they were close knit if you were one of them. And I was definitely not one of them. Everybody could see me struggle in when I was in the regular ed classroom because our school was so small. They could not see, I mean, they could not, definitely couldn't see the disability, but I couldn't hide that I was going to learning support to have a test read aloud to me or to have classes. And they thought it was cheating. And I remember even in learning support, I was bullied as well because most of my peers struggled more with reading and behavior issues. Some had sadly some trauma backgrounds. And I can even look back on it, and some students might have had autism or other disabilities, and they didn't really know what to do with them. So they just put us all together in one room. So it was really hard for me with that. And then as I went through school, it got a lot easier for me academically. I was making honor roll. I was doing really well in all my subjects, but socially it got a lot harder for me.
Mm.
The peer groups became a lot more defined, and I just didn't fit in with any of them, and the bullying really intensified. And I could start to see that I just was not making a connection with any of my peers in my school. So what I ended up doing was I found a group that met right outside of school. It was a faith-based arts group, and I wrote for the newsletter. I did some other volunteer activities, and what that really helped me to do was to shed that reputation of the outcast. I met other peers that were my age that were interested in the same thing that I was, and they didn't know anything about that I went to learning support until I told them. And after I stopped hanging out with that group, I found another group. I found an adult writing group. And this is really neat because they were just a few years older than I was, and they got to see me not only grow as a writer and a person, but they also just got to see me through a lot of those years. And they really encouraged me to write about having a learning disability. And I thought, oh no, that's too personal. I wrote some really bad poetry and some other stuff I would not want to share today. And what's amazing is over 20 some years later, we still meet once a month to talk about our writing, and we're in each other's lives. So there was a lot that really was going on with that.
Wow. You're a strong person to even survive through bullyism because, there's a lot of children for multiple reasons in school that gets bullied. Some gets ignored when they're getting bullied. Some children take their lives because they don't have the support of what they're going through. So hats off to you for making it through and coming out with a testimony that's helping other people too as well. But, we as parents, because I'm a parent too, we want the best for our children. When they hurt, we hurt, and your parents are great. Audience, give it up to the parents because it is important. It is a big role that they have as well as you. But tell me, how did your parents handle, knowing that their beautiful daughter can write and read exceptionally, but has a math disability?
My parents were my advocates. I could not have made it through my childhood without them with school and just within a lot of different things with life. I mean, they were the reasons why I was successful. It was a little hard, especially for my dad when I first got diagnosed, because he thought, oh, what do you mean? She's never going to understand what 1 plus 1 is. I mean, 1 plus 1 is always going to be 2. And the school psychologists were like, well, this is how it's going to be. But as we went through school, they were the ones that would go and talk to the school. They went to every IEP meeting for my individualized education plans. We spent a lot of long, tearful homework sessions where my parents made me try, even though and maybe go to school, even though they knew I was going to be bullied, or if I wasn't going to do well on a test, they still made me go to school because of that. And I had to try my best. We didn't have to have perfect grades, but I did have to try. And another really key thing is my parents work with the school.
Ah,
That was the that was the biggest thing. I had the privilege of running into one of my first learning support teachers a few years back, and I thanked her for everything she did in my life. And well, it was you that worked hard, but she goes, it was also your parents. If I had a concern, I would call your mom. And if your mom had a concern, she would call me.
keep
And
that
we worked
communication
together to
open. That's
make
great.
sure that you were successful in the classroom. And my mom and dad also advocated for me. Whenever I was in school, it was not a time where students with disabilities went to their own individualized education plan meetings, but my mom and dad would tell me, oh, I'm going to your IEP meeting. Is there anything that you want us to talk about? And I would give them my concerns or some things that I thought was going on, and they would get back to me on what the results were after the meeting. And that is what really gave me that empowerment on how to advocate for myself. I can remember listening to my mom, talk on the phone about having the disability, and I thought, oh, she's really good at this. And I had to learn how to be my own advocate. And my parents also supported me when I was in college too. They couldn't fix the fact that I had a disability, but they could offer encouragement and they could be there to listen and to support me as well.
Well, one of the big things that I hear throughout all of this, which is very important, is communication. They're
Yeah.
keeping the communication with the children, they're keeping the communication with you, and you back with them. Even if you say, I don't want to do it, you're communicating. And that's one of the things that most children, like inner city, have a problem with is communicating.
Right.
Telling someone, saying something, or saying something to the parent or parents. Smooth, did you have something?
Yeah, I wanted to know, did you ever encounter like frustration from your educators to where you and your parents had to overcome that and like intervene with your IEP to speak?
I have had some frustration maybe with some educators. I'm definitely. I can remember I had a teacher when I was in middle school that wanted me to be on grade level and wanted all of our students in math class to be on the grade level of the
Mm.
other students because she had a lot of pressure with some peers that she was teaching with. She thought that we just did easy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I can remember I eventually was not performing to that. And rather than going back and reteaching and going back to where I needed to be at, she just forged ahead with it. And I never was able to learn that information. And I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't on grade level. I was doing what I could do with my own ability with that.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
that
the
was
same
my
teacher told me, well,
concern.
when you
Yep.
move on to the next building, they're not going to have learning support. And she encouraged me to sign up for a remedial math class. And I did that. And the teacher didn't know what to do with me when I got in the class. She was a nice woman, but she didn't had no idea what to do.
Yeah.
And it turned out there was a learning support math, and I got in that class. And I'm not saying that teacher was a lot better. Sometimes she was frustrated with me
Mm-hmm.
too. I
You
think
get that
sometimes it was
sometimes.
just people didn't know what to do because I think everybody when I came into class thought, oh, I bet we're going to be able to teach her how to do math.
Right.
And it just has not
That
worked
was a
out
big challenge for some
to,
teachers too,
yeah,
because some of them are not educated themselves
Right.
to
Isn't that a
handle.
unique
yeah,
disability? I mean, how unique is your disability? Do you know if it's like 1 in 1 million, 1 in 3 million, 1 in 5 million adults are affected with this?
yes, exactly. 1 in 5. Yeah, there is 1 in 5 people that have a learning disability, and worldwide, there's a billion people that have a disability. So, I mean, there are people that simply have disabilities that prevent them from doing certain things or to what we might consider successful. And it's no different than, let's say we have a person with a physical disability that has a wheelchair. Nobody would expect them to climb up a flight of stairs.
Right.
But people will expect individuals that have learning disabilities in math or reading to be able to learn to read at grade, at least grade level, and to do other things and to be pushed. And for some people, they might be able to go to a certain point, and we definitely want to teach. It's not that we want to neglect doing that,
Right.
but I think we have to meet that person where they're at.
Right. Smooth.
Oh, I was going to say, yeah, growing up, and it affected me, and I've passed this really beautiful thing on to my children, is ADD. And it used to bother the teachers that it seemed as I was not paying attention, but I was actually absorbing everything you said. I just don't want to have to, you may have lost me kind of. And I'm still processing what you're saying, but I may not be directly focusing on you. And it just frustrated the hell out of teachers. Especially when you took a test and you did well on tests. And it's like, how did you do well on this test when you're never paying attention in class? It's like, well, I actually am.
Well, you know, it's kind of like what I say when you go driving and some people just can't drive. You're like, oh, that's a terrible. Some people, including teachers, need to go back to school and re-educate themselves in certain areas, because that's just how I feel about the ones that don't have the patience or don't know or don't understand themselves, and they need to re-educate themselves. But Michelle, what should teachers and parents be on the lookout for in order to identify their student or their child with a learning disability as early as possible?
Well, one of the first things that's really important to do is to see how are they performing in the classroom. Even at the very earliest level, do they know their shapes? Do they know their colors? Are they able to recall numbers? Can they do letters? Are they able to even do the one-to-one correspondent? For example, like one knight to one horse. Are they able to do all those things? And if they're not, it's really important that parents have a conversation with the teacher and even the teacher to know when you're in the classroom, the student, to the parents, they may be perfect, but there's some things that there might be some concerns about. And it's also helpful too if parents get birth to 3 services for a child. You can get screened for free with your child, and just to see if they're developing according to what they're supposed to be doing at that age. And if they're not, that's when we can start the early interventions. We can start the preschool program. We can start speech therapy. We can start physical therapy, occupational, specialized preschools. There's a lot that we can start to do. And it may not cure the child, but we can get the ball rolling in the right direction. So that way, when the child does go to school, we can get the appropriate services that they need.
Absolutely.
Can I assume that you're not an advocate of medicating the child to cure the problem?
I think that medication should be something to be considered if that's what the child's doctor says, but I also am an advocate for doing the therapy with them. I'm also for doing the lifestyles with the child as well, making sure that the child has clear boundaries, clear consequences to what is going on, doing sensory therapy, even considering things like maybe dyes in their food, if that might be something to consider, or it may or may not work. But also just having those limits, having that whatever with the counseling along with the medication, I think does work.
Well, it's a trial and error thing, I think, because, you know, some don't know what works for one might not work
Yeah.
for another either. But that's great to
True.
know, especially the part where you said that, you know, parents can go and get free testing. I think a lot maybe need to do that if they're aware of something different with their child before the school coming to tell the parent. Then the parent is putting up his guard. No, he's not, you know, of denial of the situation. But tell me, in your opinion, Michelle, what do you wish people better understood about disabilities?
One of the things I wish people understood, they go into 2 camps. They either go into the camp when I tell them I have a disability, and especially because you can't see it, they think that it's not real, or I can do anything I can put my mind to. And this might even be with people that know me for a long time, and they can't understand, well, why can't you do math? Why can't you drive a car? You have a bachelor's degree. And I have to explain to them that yes, I do. I've had a lot of success in my life, but there's still some things that I'm not able to do because of the disability. And then there's the other side where people think, "Oh, you have a disability. That means you can't do anything." So they think, "Well, we should feel sorry for you. We should have all this pity." And that's not true either. There's nothing wrong with having a disability. And it doesn't mean I can't do everything. I may not
Right.
be able to do math, but I can read really well. I may not be able to drive a car, but I can get a ride from somebody or I can walk to where I need to
Right.
go.
Right.
So I think that, yeah, I think it's people have this black and white thinking on it, and it's anything but that.
Well, some people need to actually step back and check their own
Hmm.
selves instead of judging or telling somebody what they like, see, or don't like. That's just my opinion. But you
Yeah.
are proof, definitely proof that limitations don't define your destiny because you overcome, you've conquered, you found success with a learning disability. So share with me your educational background and, if you will, despite the naysayers who says you wouldn't go to college or have the your dream job.
Right. I knew that I wanted to go to college. That was always a dream of mine. A lot of people said, "Well, that's for people who like school." Well, I like school. I just didn't like getting bullied or really struggling. I also had people who told me, "Well, because of your disability, you're not going to be able to go on to college or you're not going to go beyond community college." I had a psychiatrist who told me that. But what I ended up doing was I didn't listen. I decided I was going to go forward. I had my doubts. I didn't think I could handle it, and it was really difficult at times. I started out at community college, and I faced a lot of stigma. People thought that using accommodations was cheating, but I went forward with that. And I was able to get my associate's degree in early childhood education. I moved out for a while, and then I felt like it's time to go back to school. And I carefully researched a program at university that had the least amount of math and science possible and had a program that I loved. And I went there with used all the accommodations, and I advocated for myself, and I did so much better than my days at community college. I was on dean's list for a semester, and it really worked out well for me. And I was able to graduate with a bachelor's degree despite being told I
Well,
couldn't do it.
congratulations, my girl. Congratulations. That's
Thank
phenomenal.
you.
You are a strong queen, accomplishing, doing so much, and I love the inner strength that you have. But when it comes to inner peace and calmness from stress and tension, me, I have music. I want to think that you have a gift with photography. Tell me, how'd you get your interest in photography?
That was one of the things that I was good at. I had someone in my adult writing group really encourage me with that. Not only the writing, but with the photography. I took a picture at prom of a tree at the venue where we were at. And all my peers were like, "Oh, why'd you take a picture of a tree?" And there was an older woman there that said, "Ah, this shows perspective." And I put that on the shelf for a lot of years. I thought, I'm not an artist. I can't draw a straight line. I'm definitely can't paint. And I can remember we were at a family wedding, and we stopped at a graveyard, and I there was these beautiful angel statues, and I took a picture of one of them, and I was showing them to a friend of mine, and she said, "Oh, this is really good. Where were you at?" And I thought, "Oh my goodness, if she says I was good at this, I must be really good," because she did not flatter people. She kind of said things how they were. And I entered them into a show, and it got honorable mention. And I was so excited that I thought, I'm going to take more pictures. So I started entering into other shows. And then I started noticing something. Because I cannot drive because of my disability, I started noticing details that other people would miss. I could see flowers, I could see other really interesting things. And I can remember I would be riding with my husband, and I would say, "Did you see that?" And he said, "No, I'm focused on the road," as he should be. And I would notice that. And then later, what I found was when I would go on my walks, I would start noticing flowers. And rather than being sad that I didn't have a ride to get somewhere, I would take a picture of a flower, and people would tell me, "Wow, you bring out the details that I would miss in that." And I just think that rather than being sad, I get that chance to stop and smell the roses. And if I was driving, I would miss so many beautiful flowers and other things.
Well, you know what? Flowers are beautiful. Actually, they're
Thank you.
captivating, and I didn't realize just how captivating and beautiful they are till I noticed how many flowers you've taken pictures of. They're so great. I want to also note that some of your photography, your photos, excuse me, is featured in World Gathering, Independent, and also Work Ready. But I want to just share just a little snippet for everyone. I want them to see just how beautiful you are, the beautiful your skill that you have, and some beautiful flowers that that I, Smooth and myself, has enjoyed seeing. So we want to share it with other people as well. So check this out. Very good. Very, very
Thank
good.
you. I
Wow.
love the video. Thank you
Do
so
you
much.
know every name of every flower that you take pictures of? Really?
Yeah.
You are good. Because I was like trying to guess myself, and oh, okay, I got two or three. But all of them are so very beautiful. You captivated nature and the beauty of it very well. Maybe you
Thank
can
you
have
very
like a
much.
book of just flowers, different flowers, and what they are. It's very peaceful and nice to sit back and look at. But now, Michelle, you also work as a paraeducator at a school where students, some of the students have disabilities. What's your role as a paraeducator?
My role as a paraeducator is to work with students in the classroom and help support them in there and to support the teacher as well. A lot of times I might get a student that just cannot get what the lesson is. So sometimes I might go and I might reinforce that lesson with them. And all the kids know, do not ask me for help with math, or else they'll soon find out. I'm very upfront with that, and I can point them in the right direction with
Good.
that.
Yes.
Other times, I also try to show my students how to advocate too,
Mm-hmm.
because for my students, they're going to one day leave me, but their disabilities are going to stay. So I really want them to be able to understand how to help themselves with that. And
That is.
sometimes I might have it where I can remember I had a student a while back that she was having a hard time with her Chromebook and with typing, and I said, okay, so what's going on? She goes, well, my hands just aren't moving right with that. And I said, okay, well, what do you think we should do to be able to solve this? And she said, I think I need to go down and ask the librarian for a mouse for my computer. And she came up with that idea on herself by
That's good.
herself.
That's good.
So I think that's just so important that they know what they need to be successful in life.
So, what grades are your students?
I am working with seventh graders this year.
Oh, yes, the teenagers. But you know, Michelle, from your own experience, I'm sorry, Tim.
Well, I wanted to ask real quick, have you encountered a student that has the same disability as yourself?
I've encountered students that have had learning disabilities too. Some of them do have math disabilities. Other ones might have just maybe different types. Maybe they don't have a math dyscalculia, but they might have dyslexia. Some have
Mm-hmm.
uh, dysgraphia. That's always interesting too, because I also have that where it's really hard for me to write, and it's my handwriting has always been an issue, and that's also due to the limited hand dexterity, but also having dysgraphia with that too. And some students who can have it, they might have difficulty even putting their thoughts on the paper, which I've never really had that. I've always been good with on that end of it, but just making my handwriting neat can be hard. Definitely students that have issues with eye-hand coordination. I've seen that, and that's another thing that I share as well.
That's
I just
interesting.
thought it would be extremely beneficial to a parent who has a educator who is bearing the same issues as their child, and it helps guide them along with, here's what I learned. It may or may not work for you.
Exactly. Because that's actually what I
Yeah.
was going to ask Michelle is from your own experience, because you know what some students are going to. What's your path or your approach to helping these students that's disabled or students that's not disabled, develop that strong self-confidence?
Well, one of the first things I do, I think that just really helps them sometimes is if I am in the classroom and they ask me, well, can you help me with this? And it involves math. I get to be that role model of humility to say, I'm really sorry, I don't know how to do this. And I think that's so important that kids know that everybody struggles. Everybody has something that they're good at, everybody has something that they're bad at. And we're not gods. We are just simply trying to do our best at everything. So I think it's important to see that struggle. And I can also encourage them on things like I see that they are good at. I've had students before, they might be drawing and it's a really good drawing, and I'll say, wow, that's really good. You should really pursue that. And I've made crafts with kids too and just sat there with them. And sometimes it's finding what they're good at. Other ones might be good at sports, and it's encouraging them. Oh, you like to play sports? That's really good, and just maybe pursuing that as well, and focusing on that. Because when I focus on the things I'm good at, I don't feel like I'm disabled. I feel happy. I feel empowered. So we really want to make sure that we're encouraging our students to do that. And I think it's also providing resources for them as well.
Right.
It's making sure that they have a resource of whenever they leave, okay, I can get connected with Office for Vocational Rehabilitation. They're going to help me be able to pay for college and job accommodations, and maybe even just other programs that are available that I don't know about as well. But it's trying to get that ball rolling so they're able to see uh, what services are out there to help them.
Well, you know, Michelle, you've been through the education system in a way that some children are not blessed to experience the way that you did. I mean, from experiencing and overcoming these challenges and achieving educational success, in your words, what would you say is your philosophy of education?
My philosophy of education is to meet the child where they're at and to focus on the whole child, not just their education, but every part of them, to be able to make sure that we're helping them to be successful. And I also think that it's really important that we do a customized approach to how children learn. All too often we want to do this cookie cutter approach where what works for everybody. And that just simply isn't true. We have to go and meet people where they're at, and we have to provide a program that that can definitely meet their unique needs and to steer them in the right direction. And if I had one wish, it would be that we could definitely fund schools so we could have more supports for our students, and we could have more funding that we could provide more meaningful opportunities with learning.
Absolutely. I agree with you on that. But let me ask you, in your opinion, if you could actually go back in time and if you could have a conversation with the younger you, what advice would you give yourself?
I would tell my younger self that it's all going to be okay, because I spent so many years worrying that nothing was ever going to work out. And I think I would have been a much happier person if I just would have known that it was all going to be okay. And I also would go back and tell myself, you're going to just again, things are going to work out. You're going to get married. You're going to go to college. You're going to get your bachelor's degree. You're going to have a job that you love. You're going to become a published author. And I think if I just knew all those things, I could just enjoy that time and know that it was all going to be all right.
Well, you can't go back and tell your advice self, but you're smart enough that you're taking this advice right now. You're adding on by making a difference for other children and adults. So I want you to keep shining, keep making this difference, and being the voice that we all need. We really do need more advocates, more people to stand up and speak out and educate not just the education system and teachers, but parents and students, other students as well, to understand what that child is going through instead of bullying them, you know? But before we go, is there anything else that you like to add or say that I didn't ask you?
I just want to encourage other people to know what they want and to be able to find a way to do it. And the success doesn't always come in the package that you expect, but sometimes it comes in something even better.
I like that. And true, that is indeed. All right. Michelle, tell everybody how you can be followed on social media.
You can find me, I'm on Facebook and Instagram, and I am also, you can find me at my blog, www.michellesmission.com.
Oh, that's right. You do have a blog, right?
Mhm.
What do you want to say
I
about your
do.
blog?
Sure. With my blog, that's where I combine my photography, and I also do a lot of disability articles where I talk about my life with having a learning disability and try to connect nature with a lot of analogies with that.
So again, how can they get in touch and read your
Oh,
blog?
sure. It's at www.michellesmission.com.
All right. I love it. I thank you so much for taking the time being here on the show today. You're more than welcome to come back anytime and educate, inspire, and empower the world. I really appreciate that. So until next time, Miss Michelle Steiner, I appreciate you and I want you to have a great day.
Thanks, you too.
All right. Michelle Steiner, everybody. Smooth, you got a little advertisement for me?
Yeah, I was getting into an ad and come right back and finish up the show. That was enjoyable. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Join me every Tuesday for fun and games and play for cash. That's right. Sylvia Mid, the fun word guessing game is back and you can
Thank you
come
so much.
aboard and play. It's simple. Just email us your name and contact information and you are in there, baby. Yeah.
All right.
All right. I hope you enjoyed that. That was great and motivating as well because, you know, there's a lot of people out here who's going through things, don't know what's going on. Parents, teachers, be aware of changes and differences and do something about it. Don't be the adult bully because you don't understand what the child is going through. There's help out there available. And like Michelle Steiner said, free help that's out there available. He's like, free? What? Free? You better get involved with that because, you know, that's even leaving the world right now, things that are free. And this is very important. Our children, our youth is our future. And everyone don't come out as successful as Michelle Steiner did. But Michelle Steiner is there to help motivate, to help encourage, to help be that backing bone for a child, a student, and even adult.
You heard the numbers. Hey, somebody in your family and or somebody you know is affected with a disability.
Absolutely.
So, hey, do the right thing.
Absolutely. And I thank Michelle Steiner so very much. You guys follow her all social media and platforms. You can even let her know that what you thought about what she just had shared with us. I appreciate that very much. Strong woman doing some great things. And hey, stay tuned. She may be just back sharing some more greatness just for you on this terrific Tuesday. Yeah, baby. You know today is Tuesday. Some people don't know that. And it's not a funny thing. Seriously, some people don't know that today is Tuesday. But tomorrow's Wednesday. You know, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Tomorrow's Wednesday. And that's
Is that how that goes?
well, I'm just saying.
Okay.
That's Tim's tidbits. Get ready. Hold on tight. If you can handle it, take it on. Super entertainment. He's not going to tell you what it be about, but I will say that during his show, he will reveal the asshole of the week, and you don't know who that asshole is. Sometimes it's more than one asshole in the week.
We've had a busy weekend, you know, all kinds of Seattle invasions.
So stay tuned for that because he's not going to tell you.
I won't spill the beans.
Hey, that's in the evenings tomorrow on Wednesday, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Times. But do check your time zones and join us for Tim's Tidbits.
Indeed.
Then come on back on Thursday. That's right, because that's the Now You Know show with Queen Silvy and Smooth Tim, bringing you inspirational, encouraging. Let me just simply summarize it by saying it's a
potpourri of entertainment, my queen.
Potpourri of entertainment. all coming from the heart just for you. We also have during the show question of the week. Well, my good friends, my good kings and queens video in their answer to the show question of the week. And we end the show with a special video showcase that Smooth provides clues for before we reveal just whom that special video is all about and who it is. So stay tuned for that on Thursdays. And Now You Know show. It's in the evenings also. 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And again, do check your time zones if you will.
That helps.
So it's now time to go and have lunch with my king, Smooth.
Be out of here.
So with that said, you guys, because Smooth is going to tell you how you can be followed, how we can be followed on social media, and if you'd love to be a guest on the Queen Silvy Show, how you can get in contact with Smooth for that, Smooth.
Okay, if you'd like to follow yourself, go ahead and do so. But if you'd like to follow us throughout the entirety of the show, you've seen ways on our Facebook page, The Queen Silvy Show, on the YouTube page, The Queen Silvy Show. Or you can just drop in The Queen Silvy Show in the Google search engine and follow us on the platform that you really choose. We're all over the place.
Googleable.
And otherwise, as the Queen says, if you'd like to be a contestant on the Queen Silvy Show, be a guest possibly, or maybe host a show on Thursday, www.thequeensilvyshow.com. Contact tab, scroll on down, leave us a message along with your email, and the Queen will get back with you.
I sure will. I'll get back with you and let you know Smooth got your back. He'll be contacting you momentarily.
The Queen will get back with you, exactly.
Well, with that said, go out and make the best of your day, your morning, your night. Hey, be kind to yourself. Be kind to your neighbors, if you will. And with that said...
Till next week. Same Queen time, same Queen station. We'll holler, folks. Bye-bye.